Rock 106.5K. Well, it's the Crooked Dude Show. We are here with Ken Casey. Oh my God, it's the Dropkick Murphys. I'm so excited. The first question I have to ask is, shit, man, what happened with the Bruins this year?
You know, as you see from the track record of people being able to repeat, it's just, I was tired after last year, man. Just as a fan, you know what I mean? We were on tour over here watching in Europe, watching a lot of the early rounds, staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning every day, and then coming home. And when I get back home, I tend to think I'm actually on the team, so I'm like traveling with the team. I was on the ice with the Stanley Cup, and my wife would always say, like, you know you're not on the team, right? So I was tired, so I can only imagine how they felt. But we'll get them next year, and the fact that it's a Stanley Cup that nobody wants to even see makes people the year before that much more memorable. And we'll be back next year. I don't know what this shit I'm hearing about Tim Thomas taking a year off is, but aside from the goaltending situation, I think we look good. You know, maybe we'll have some money freed up to go sign a sniper that we always seem to need on the Bruins.
Yeah, you being in the Boston area, any news on Nathan Horton, how the concussion thing's going, if he'll be back this year? Because I feel with the 3 game winners he had last year in the playoffs, that was a huge hole for us coming in this spring.
Oh yeah, I mean, it just, anytime you lose something like that, and the dichotomy of the lines change, and I felt like last playoffs, we had three lines that could have been the number one line, and this year it just changed, and I haven't. They keep the concussion thing very, very mum's the word, and I've been on tour a lot, so I haven't really asked. And I don't, being friendly with all the players, when it comes to concussion stuff, I don't even ask. They won't even talk to friends about it. It's kind of like such a, almost like a jinx thing to it. They don't know. The guy with the concussion often doesn't know. So, hate to see that keep happening to all these great players. I think you really got to look at the equipment. I mean, it's like, why is this happening? You know what I mean? Why did that not happen to that degree? In the old days. And if you look at a comparison of the shoulder pads to yesterday to today, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, or like the buckets like Gretzky used to wear. It was just plastic. I mean, people think, oh well, he was wearing a helmet, he's fine. It was literally a plastic shell that wasn't even as thick as a kid's toy.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll make some major changes.
So Download Festival, getting some music question. Obviously, is this your first time here at the Download Festival?
It is, yeah. We usually used to do the Reading and Leeds Festival kind of every other year, so it's nice to change it up and do something different, and just heavy bands, and it's interesting for us to be one of the less heavy bands on a weekend. We usually tend to sometimes on the European festival circuit be the other way. But we seem to fit in well on these kind of more metal festivals. It's like we're heavy in spirit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it translates well with the audience. Usually, knock on wood, they'll probably throw rocks at us today, but
no chance on that. So here on the Crooked Dude Show, we are a bit of a hard rock station, but me being a guy originally from Massachusetts, huge Bruins fan, and I love the Murphys, had to jump in, but we have an 11 question questionnaire we always do. We don't go to 10, we go to 11.
I like it,
fun with that.
Sure.
So, yeah. First question is the first concert you ever attended?
I believe that was Jay Giles at the Cape Cod Coliseum. Yeah, back before they were,
The Coliseum? I've only heard of the Cape Cod Melody Tent.
Yeah, that was way back in the old days. I was a little kid then.
My mom lives out in Brewster, so I've been to the Melody Tent a few times.
Cool.
The first album and first instrument you ever had, and how did you acquire that?
That's a great question on the instrument. So I think it was AC/DC, Dirty D's might have been the first album. I'm not sure. And the first, what was the second one? Instrument?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't start playing an instrument till this band 3 weeks before our first show. I'm a lefty bass player, and I had a crappy old righty bass that I can't even tell you what make or model it was, strung upside down, and I played that for the first year in the band till we could afford to buy a lefty instrument. God damn it, it's so hard for the lefties. They jack everything up. It's discrimination, really.
I know, I'm a lefty myself.
Actually, Marshfield, someone just told me Marshfield, Mass, they just opened a lefty-only guitar shop.
Nice.
See how long that stays in business.
Right. Your biggest influence growing up?
Musically?
Music or otherwise?
Yeah,
It can be Yaz if you need it to be.
probably shines through in the band and the music and what we do, in the sense that it was like, you know, late 70s British punk and oi bands like, you know, The Clash and, you know, Stiff Little Fingers from Belfast, and, you know, melodic and kind of hard bands like that. And then as I got a little older, like, you know, Boston hardcore bands of the early 80s, like Gangrene and the FUs and DYS, because that was the band you could kind of go see on a regular basis. And, you know, and then, you know, Yaz, Bobby Orr, you know, Larry Bird, those are, you know, those are the people. Cam Neely, you know, that was, you know, that meant as much to me, if not more, as music, you know, and I think those, you can tell if you listen to all the songs half the time that, you know, that's, those, they all have their moments in there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a favorite band or artist specifically growing up?
Not that I can think back to, really. I guess if I had to just pick one that, you know, I always made it back to the turntable more than anybody, it would be The Clash. But, you know, that, how can it not be, really, I suppose, you know.
All right. How long did you want to be a full-time musician, and when did you finally achieve the point where you didn't have to have other jobs to support being a musician?
Yeah, the band started as a joke, you know, and as a dare. I was working at one of my many jobs at the time. I was working at Symphony Hall in Boston with the orchestra played as a bartender, and a kid that I worked the bar with said, "You're always talking about starting a band. My band has a show in 3 weeks. I dare you to open for us." And I love a good challenge, and I accepted the challenge. 3 weeks later, the Dropkick Murphys were born, and we played a show, and, you know, much to our surprise, people liked it, and, you know, all of a sudden we started getting offers to play. You know, when I say getting offers, not from like promoters, it was like we would book a show in Boston and have 8 bands from other cities come, you know, an all ages matinee, and then they would offer to return the favor. And, you know, next thing you know, we were kind of doing it pretty heavily on weekends. And then that time comes in any band's career where you say, man, I can't hold down a job and be gone for, you know, 150 shows a year. So pretty much we really never went to that middle ground of having to hold down a job and be in the band, because we just toured nonstop. And we substituted having to have other jobs by, you know, I had just got married, I had to move in with my father-in-law. Everyone had that situation where they could kind of get to a living scenario where they, you know, didn't have a high overhead, and we literally, some of the guys lived in the band and in the practice space, and we just worked and worked and worked. We started our own label, we pressed our own records, we did our own mail order, and we just toured and toured and toured. We slept on people's floors, and if we didn't have money, we didn't spend money, we didn't make money, and we invested everything we ever made back into the business. So, you know, we were never in debt or beholden to anyone else. And that happens to a lot of bands where, you know, they're working, but they're taking money all along from a record label or whatever, and they get to a point where they say, what's going on here? We've been doing this for years and we're still in debt, and maybe they live beyond their means a little too early. And we always just lived by our means, and if it meant that we made $100, you know, a month with the band, or $100 a week, or $100 a day, it's just like, that's where we were, you know.
The favorite band you've ever opened for, and if there's anybody you could open for, who would that be?
I'd say the last band left on the list that, you know, we haven't played with that we'd love to would be AC/DC. We've ironically, like, there was just bands that we were friends with and looked up to, a band called the Swinging Utters from San Francisco, who when the band started, I go, when we achieve that goal, the band can end, you know. And then it was like Social Distortion, then it was or like you know, playing with Joe Strummer, you know, with his band the Mescaleros, the Pogues, you know, all these bands we got to play with, you know, sharing a stage with Bruce Springsteen. You know, we never opened for him because he doesn't typically have opening bands, but I've gone up and sang songs with him. You know, those are all things that we're like, what, you know? Maybe, you know, Van Morrison would be awesome. We were supposed to do a festival together, but he canceled, like he often does. So yeah, AC/DC is probably like the peak, you know. Yeah. Maybe Bagpiper Scruffy could go up and play Long Way to the Top with him.
Oh. Your favorite place to play, and is there anywhere you haven't played yet that you really want to?
There's a lot of places we haven't played. We're going to Russia next week for the first time. Looking forward to that. We've still, believe it or not, haven't been to South America, and there's a real demand down there, but there's also kind of like apparently an element of like a lot of crazy stuff going on, like punk shows of our nature right now, and it's a little violent or something, which is crazy because you're across the world. Going, why can't we go? There's what, but better to find out now and not go than get there and have the show canceled, which that kind of stuff happens a lot. So we're kind of all about going to new places right now. My favorite places, probably Australia is my favorite place to go as a band. Just the country is so like welcoming and friendly. I haven't met a person down there I don't like. Alaska is obviously in the States, the final frontier for us in the States, and we would absolutely love to go there, to any promoter that's listening. And obviously favorite place to play is naturally our hometown in Boston, and it's great because we get bigger crowds than anywhere else, but we also have the most diverse crowd. Just within my own family, I might have my my 3 children, my oldest, my 10-year-old daughter, Irish step dances with her Irish step school on stage when we play. My grandmother comes to the show, so I've got such a wide span of family and friends, and so that's what makes that so special. But everywhere's great. Chicago is a great city for us. In the day and age of the internet and everything, it's like it's not like the old days. I think where a band might have pockets of strength based on like radio, or whatever. We've toured everywhere so much, and you know what the best part about it is for us, especially in the States, we came up on that real underground kind of do-it-yourself world where you're making friends and they're putting on your shows, and 16 years later, the backstage at our show is still those very first people that ever booked us. So you feel like you have family in every city,
If a promoter or your manager calls you up and says, "Hey, we got your gig booked in Alaska," what's your first impression when somebody says you're going to Alaska?
When do we get on the plane? I'm obsessed with seeing a bear in the wild, so I gotta go to Alaska.
Nice.
And I've also heard the shows are really good.
Yeah. Do you feel you get a better reaction out of U.S. crowds or European crowds, or is it just different?
It's just different, yeah. I think it's great everywhere. There's definitely that, when you go to someplace for the first time, there's that special factor, like when they've been waiting for like over a decade for you to go there, But it's great everywhere. We're very similar, really, all throughout the world,
Normally we ask metal people what their favorite non-metal act is, but since you're typically non-metal, how about who's your favorite hard rock or heavy metal?
Well, like I said, hard rock would definitely be AC/DC, and I would probably be Sabbath, I guess, for that. Then we've never got to do this before, so it'd be cool, Hope I get to meet the man, maybe, I don't know, probably not.
I don't know, we're huge Ozzy fans, we've met him once.
Yeah.
Number 11, the weirdest place you've ever put your penis.
Wow, that one took me by surprise. Jeez.
That's why it's 11.
Wow. I just got a blow-up doll on this tour, not just as a joke. She was it said the fat ass lady, and I had to buy it, and I blew it up, and ironically, much to all of our surprise, even though we didn't plan on using any holes, it didn't even come with a hole. That's probably why it was also $19.99 and not $100 like the rest of them. But this is a 33-day tour, so by the end of it, I'll probably find somewhere to put it in there. I don't know. Oh, God, that was 11, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 11. Well, it's Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys. We're here at the Download Festival 2012 with